This weekend, Rick Pitino will be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. ESPN ranked the top 10 players that Rick Pitino coached during his career, and 7 Wildcats showed up on the list. 4 of the top 5 are Kentucky players. Jamal Mashburn topped the list, along with Tony Delk, Antoine Walker, and Ron Mercer. From there, Billy Donovan of Providence rounded out the top 5, and then Derek Anderson, Sean Woods came in at 6 and 7. The first Louisville players, Russ Smith at number 8, followed by Wayne Turner at UK, and then Francisco Garcia, the final Louisville player. ESPN writer Eamon Brennan said Pitino's best teams have always been ensemble casts, and, quote, his brightest stars have always existed less as centerpieces to be built around and cogs in variously terrifying machines. That's why he gets paid to be a writer, because that was impressive. You're a writer, Mark Krebs. That was good word. that was good word usage. Yeah. This list, it's interesting because Pitino's going into the Hall of Fame. But before we get into these guys, he's going in as Louisville's coach, and this championship he won at U of L is kind of the crowning achievement. But is there a part of Big Blue Nation, as Kentucky fans, should we maybe celebrate Rick Pitino going into the Hall of Fame this weekend?
Absolutely. The way I view Rick Pitino is 2 separate people, actually 3 maybe. The NBA Rick Pitino, which is and then you got the Louisville Rick Pitino, who's obviously done really good work there, but off my list of like favorite coaches. But then there's Rick Pitino at Kentucky, which growing up as a kid, he was great. And I think if you're a Kentucky fan, he got in the Hall of Fame mostly because of what he did at Kentucky, and now obviously what he's doing at Louisville. He's a great coach, and you have to celebrate that. And no matter what he does in his personal life and all that stuff, he has done a very, very good job on the basketball.
Before Calipari, we always said, a lot of people were saying, it won't ever be like it was when Pitino was here. When he had those great teams, they were so loaded and made the championship games. And some people say left it for Tubby Smith to just walk into a
championship. No problem.
Show up, coach. Tubby flipped on the lights, they gave him a ring, that sort of thing. But now Calipari, I think, has changed a little bit our perception of Pitino, along with him going to Louisville. How much, time has passed. I know that rivalry still burns strong with Calipari. Is there a certain part? Is it time maybe for Kentucky fans to forgive Rick Pitino, or is it okay to still hate him a little bit?
It's okay to still hate him a little bit, for sure. If you're a Kentucky fan and he's still at Louisville, the rival, you're allowed to not like the guy. It's okay. But then again, you can celebrate the fact that he's going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's a very big honor. And if you look at his time in Kentucky and what he did for the program, it was great. So you can't deny that.
Pulled them out of darkness and brought them into that successful era. That list that ESPN put together, I think very few people complain about Jamal Mashburn at the top. In the article, there's an interesting argument to be made for Tony Delk. He said if Tony Delk was not a part of a team that was so loaded, that 96 team, he maybe would have statistically passed Jamal Mashburn. But to me, Jamal Mashburn is the guy that kind of changed the course of the program. He's far and away the number one. Is that right?
No doubt. What he did in the time of turmoil, how low Kentucky was as far as probation and all that stuff, to come out with such a bang was great. And I thought Jamal Mashburn totally knew what it was like to be a Kentucky basketball player, and he's actually been, I think, the person that guys that come into the program look at it and say, what can happen not only while you're playing, but afterwards as a Kentucky athlete. All his businesses and what he's done for the world and in the business, it's been great. And so he is the benchmark, and I think it's really cool. So he's number one for sure.
And it's important to note that these are college careers only. This is not. That's why Billy Donovan's number 5. Donovan averaged, I think, 20 points and 7 assists as he carried that Providence team. So he's a great college player. But when you look at the UK guys, there are so many interchange. I mean, Walter McCarty's not on that list. Walter McCarty's my favorite player, one of my favorite players of all time. Derek Anderson, down at I believe 6 or 7 in that range. But the Louisville guys, you got Russ Smith and Francisco Garcia. I almost think you could move Francisco Garcia ahead of Russ Smith, because I think he was a better player in college, which is Russ is a great defender, but Sean Woods to me is the one that kind of sticks out. Am I not appreciating Sean Woods enough? I mean, he seems like a guy that there are 4 or 5 other people you could put there. Is he maybe an overlooked piece of the Kentucky history?
Well, I think the problem is there's about 4 players that could go in that position. So no matter which one you put in there, if you left him off, people would say, why isn't Sean Woods in there? Or if you put some other guy in, not that they'd say that guy doesn't deserve to be in there, but there's so many interchangeable parts, which is why everyone loved those teams so much. From 93, 92, and on up, everyone loved those teams, and they did so well, and they were such ensemble casts that there were so many good players. How do you deny, how do you deny him? So I understand what you mean, but Sean Woods was a great player. It's just, who else would you put in there, and who would you take away that totally said, he shouldn't be in there?
There was so much talent in that group. You know what Tubby Smith says when he sees that list of Pitino players? I bet I could win a title with those guys. I bet I could win. That was a low blow. Sorry. We love you, Tubby. We love you. Sorry about that.